Welcome to the video on hazard assessment. At the end of this video, you will be able to define a hazard, describe the field level hazard assessment process. A hazard is any situation, condition, or thing that has the ability to cause harm to workers or to damage equipment, materials, or the environment. Examples include broken tools, tripping hazards, use of the wrong chemical, an injury to eyes from flying objects. The employer is responsible to ensure these hazards are identified and eliminated or controlled. This is done by performing a hazard assessment. A hazard assessment identifies hazards so that they can be eliminated or controlled to prevent harm to workers, materials, or the environment. Our lab is considered our job site, so we are required by Alberta Occupational Health and Safety to perform a site-specific hazard assessment or Field Level Hazard Assessment, FLHA. The Field Level Hazard Assessment is documented in a Field Level Hazard Assessment form. A Field Level Hazard Assessment is performed before work starts and when conditions have changed. There are essentially 5 key steps in performing a hazard assessment. Identify the tasks that will take place on site today. Identify hazards associated with each task. Identify plans to eliminate or control the hazards. Communicate the hazards and follow the controls. Repeat when there are changes to the worksite. Let's take a look at the context of the lab environment when performing a field level hazard assessment. Identify the tasks that will take place on site today. You need to prepare by reviewing and familiarizing yourself with the experiment that you will be conducting. Lab objectives and procedures will provide you with most of the tasks that you will be performing. Consider the equipment you will need to move and set up. Do you need to lift anything? Will you be measuring anything? Are you using rotating equipment? Identify hazards associated with each task. Consider the hazards that you could be exposed to as a result of completing each task. For example, a task might be moving equipment from a storage shelf. Situations that could create a hazard in this example are a cluttered floor or workstation. This could lead to a trip and fall. If the equipment is on a shelf, how high is it? How heavy is it? Identify plans to eliminate or control the hazards. When a hazard cannot be eliminated, they must be controlled in this order. The first choice is engineered controls. This means the hazard will be controlled at the source. An example might be adding guards to the equipment so that workers are not exposed to the hazard. The second choice is administrative controls. This means the hazard is controlled between the source and the worker. An example is following procedures to safely perform the task. The third choice is personal protective equipment or PPE. This means the hazard will be controlled at the worker. An example is wearing approved footwear and safety glasses. A combination of the 3 choices for controlling a hazard provides a greater level of worker safety. Communicate the hazards and follow the controls. Everyone in the lab should be aware of and understand the hazards and the controls to follow. Lab partners must coordinate and communicate with one another and sign their field level hazard assessment document. Repeat when there are changes to the worksite. When new procedures or equipment are introduced into the lab, the field level hazard assessment process will need to be repeated. Our lab is considered a worksite, and according to Alberta Occupational Health and Safety, we are required to perform site-level inspections. This video has explained what a hazard is and how to perform a field level hazard assessment. In the next video, we take a look at the field level hazard assessment form and how to record and complete the necessary information.